Welcome back, guys. First of all, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm just some guy who is legitimately concerned, and I want to do an update video. Now, listen, there's like 5 people who are constantly watching my videos, thumbing me down, and leaving crazy comments. Obviously, you can see the thumbnail, you can see the title, you can pretty much guess what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to say. And if you don't like it, just unsubscribe and go away. It's pretty psychotic to keep watching someone you really don't like. And I just wanted everyone else to know that, because it's when you become a public figure and you give your opinion, you see some crazy stuff out there, guys. It's actually funny. I enjoy it, but you know, it's weird. People are weird. Look, I'm not benefiting from talking about this whatsoever. My private group, I've added 2 people in 2 months. That doesn't even keep the lights on. Doesn't pay the bills. Here's my back office to my YouTube. As you can see, my estimated revenue is about $70. That's estimated. Probably fall. And as you can see, I'm not exactly a baller. If you look at this, if it would load. And here we go. So my revenue's dropped. I'm estimated to make $65 this month, and it's probably going to be less. All right, that's it. That's for the last 28 days. So I do not benefit from talking about this. I'm just doing it. For one, I find it extremely fascinating, extremely important, and I don't know. I am who I am. I have to talk about it. I'm the guy who always speaks the truth. Nobody likes me. Everyone wants to kill the messenger. I get it, but I do get respect. I always do, because I will talk about things that other people are scared to talk about. Am I personally afraid? No, I'm not. But I am concerned. And let's get into it, because this video, I will share it in the newsroom. I found a few good videos. They're short. They're like 3, 4, 5 minutes. And the people in my newsroom, links below in the description section, they understand how much I have been researching this, because I share a lot of it with everyone. I've been diving pretty deep, as deep as I can, into this, because it's that important. I have this gut feeling that this is going to be a big deal. And I think it's going to affect all of us. All right? And all I'm saying is just be prepared, right? Because then you have less panic, less shock, and you won't be afraid. All right. It's of course spreading. I call it the nCoV because of, the algos. And I have to be careful what I say and how I word things. There was one in Paris. It was a traveler from China. There's one in Egypt. Now, if we go to my world density population map, right? Cairo is pretty damn dense. Look at this. Right? Of course, France is one of the most dense. Well, Paris, at least, the city. Now, that doesn't mean it's already, spread, but listen, they, even doctors with full suits are getting it. What does that tell you? There's already cases of that. So let's talk about this. What do I think? Is it a weapon? Probably. I think what happened is, now what if, right? I'm just theorizing. None of this is fact, all right? It's just I'm thinking out loud and I'm theorizing and thinking what if. Uh I believe it was manufactured because of all the information. We've even had politicians saying in the US. Um and the way it looks like a slice and dice put together from many different forms, right? Did it get loose on accident? Probably, most likely. Was it released on purpose? Maybe. Maybe. Now you guys have to understand this platform I'm talking on, they've been paid off too by China, all right? That's why there's mass censorship. Um, Now you could theorize, why would they do that on purpose? Well, what if you studied this thing and you knew like 4 months later that it'll become stronger, but the first 4 months, the people who did get infected become immune to it. Although that's not the case from the latest information that I've gotten, and I'll show you guys where I got that information. The latest information is actually the opposite. So I do believe this was probably, what I think happened was it was stolen. Then and there's been leaks from that, that lab prior, and it probably got loose. All right. So I'm going to talk about history. I'm going to talk about influenza. All right. But let's cover what we know so far, and then I'll show you the video you could watch. It's in the newsroom, but I can't say the name. I can't say the channel because of the, So it travels through your poo. Now they're coming out and saying it might have an R naught of 4 to 6.6, which is insane. That pretty much means it's not going to get stopped. We're all going to get, with time, it's going to be at your front doorstep. There's speculation that this thing, you can be infecting people for 24 days, which is insane. Again, a doorknob, it lived on it for like a very long time. I forgot how many days, but I think it was over a week, it's bad. Tests. So they have all these tests that they've made, but a lot of them are, because of the nature of the nCoV, the tests show false positives or false negatives, meaning you get tested and it's completely false, or you have it, but you get tested, you show a negative, but you had it, and then like maybe a week later you have enough cells in your body where if you were to be tested again, then it would show up as positive. So that's for quarantining and all that. It's a nightmare, especially with this R naught of, if it's like 6, good luck. It's up there with the biggest spreaders, right? And this is like coming out of mainstream media now. So you could, yell at me all you want, but I'm just 2 weeks ahead of them. That's all it is. So far. This is what scares me. You might be able to get reinfected. So you get it once, your body fights it off, you survive. And that's, let's say it's a 95%, 90% survival, right? That's the fatality rate. But then you could get it again. And then it's actually more fatal, because that's crazy. And that's what actually influenza did. Now, I'm going to give you guys my theory on how that works. Because you would expect your immune system, once it's gotten it, it could recognize it the second time and then attack it and destroy it. The problem is, When that does happen, but your immune system, your immune response is overreactive. And what happens is you get like inflammation all over your liver, your lungs, you get fluid in your lungs, you can't breathe. And people are getting heart attacks. That would explain people just walking and just keeling over. Those videos, all those videos I've shared, that would explain that. And then here's my theory, because I watched a few documentaries now on, the last on influenza, and I'm going to talk about that. As this thing spreads, the more people it infects and goes through, the more mutations there are. And someone actually commented in my last video in the comment section, gave me a great comment. I feel like it was probably like a doctor or someone, or a scientist, or someone smart. And I agreed with him, and I was actually literally thinking that, like, the night prior, before I went to bed. I was actually thinking that. I'm like, geez, what if this thing runs through the Asian population, infects over 1 billion people, and then there's just many, many mutations. And some of them are just stronger than others, and you have subspecies of the original, and that's why people are getting secondary, maybe third, maybe fourth. They're getting hit multiple times with different strands of the same thing because it's mutating. And that's sort of what influenza did. The second wave of it is what really took people out. And that's what's scary. And now listen, with influenza, right? It was the biggest tragedy ever. Like, it took more lives than anything else in human history. It's estimated from 50 to 100 million. And back then, that was a lot. It was like 5 to 10% of the entire global population. Okay? And what it did was it attacked mainly demographically 20-year-olds to 40-year-olds more than the young and the elderly. And that's because your immune response was like hyper reactive. And I'm afraid that this is going to do the same. So that means the healthier people. Also, smokers. I mean, there's two theories behind that I have. Smokers, obviously, I mean, they're touching the cigarette with their hand, right? And their mask is off when they're doing it. And then the virus could go on to, I just said the word, could go on to the cig, right? And that's another reason. So your answers, there's some people who are asking, does it specifically attack specific culture, like the Asians? No, it doesn't. It's just that a lot of the men actually smoke there. And then they probably, did that and exposed themselves because they are, taking their masks off or not washing hands, touching the cigarette, and then putting in their mouth. That makes sense. Or it does and then it also weakens your lungs, right? So it makes perfect sense. So that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about mutations. And then, population back then was less than 2 billion in 1918 and 1919. And 10%. That's very big. That's tragedy, guys. Again, back then the world wasn't so hyper interconnected with planes and ships. So this is probably gonna spread quicker than back then. Now, back then it was World War I, and troops were moving around, and that's what spread it. But I mean, we today have more people just flying around, just any given day. And yeah, so here's another map of population density. I just like this map. So understand this. Know where you're at. take into consideration. If I was in Australia, I'd just like go out in the desert. Um, and I don't know if it's better if you were. I'm not, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. But would it be better if you did get it initially and then your immune system's ready, or could it actually be the worst case scenario that it doesn't matter? You actually get attacked harder the second wave or the third. Who knows how many waves, right? These things are all different. Like history rhymes, but no, history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. Here's another map of giving you a nice visual of currently, or no, 1800 of population size, right? This is with 11 billion, but currently we're at like 7.5. So, all right. Again, the news broke today, this morning. A man in East China's Shandong province showed nCoV symptoms of fever and cough 10 days after finishing the quarantine period. The person, along with his wife and 2 children, tested positive for the virus. And on Saturday, his family member showed no symptoms. More evidence of it. This guy got tested, but later everyone had it. Now you could say, well, maybe they did get it later, but they were already quarantined, right? So, I don't know. Well, information right now it's still too early. As things move along, we'll get more info, but it's just worse and worse. It's not good. All right, WHO Director General says all countries must be prepared for the arrival of the nCoV cases. Does he? And this was a response. Does he know about a month late? And it's in dozens of countries already. Exactly. Everyone was criticizing, right? That, hey, why aren't you guys reacting appropriately and warning everyone? Well, it's too late now. These are the videos you guys need to watch. These are the best that I could find. He is a scientist, and it's in the newsroom. I can't say it. All right, so all right, what else? I think to look ahead. So Singapore is doing a great job, and in Japan as well. And it's really hitting Japan hard and Singapore. I would watch those two to get an idea of how it's going to be later on where you live. And I'll look at the software that sort of predicts this, right? Or, I mean, it's not accurate whatsoever, but I don't know. It's fun to maybe. Well, it's not fun, but it's, I don't know. It's the only thing I have. So here, as we look at Japan, according to this, and you take this with a grain of salt, you take everything with a grain of salt, everything. They're confirmed at 334. I like to 10x it. So, or over 3,000 are probably on an island, very densely populated. Already a death. So only 12 recovered, which is scary, right? Of course, this takes weeks and weeks to play out for the people who do get it. So a good barometer of the near future, right, would be to watch Singapore and Japan. Because if you live in a first world country, because they're first world, and they're going to, do their best, even South Korea, right? And to see how it plays out there, and then you'll get a good idea. Now, the U.S. is preparing. They've like 11, probably 13, something like that, bases getting ready. Again, always watch their actions, not what they say. Right. I know Trump tweeted, like, just wait for April, the heat will take care of it. Listen, guys. I mean, if you're in his position, and I entertain every idea. Was this all planned, right? Was it all? I don't know, but was everyone in on it, right? I don't know, guys. I entertain any idea. I really do. I'm just not gonna talk about it, but you guys know. His advisors, might have invested interests. Maybe the best action is to keep everyone calm and the economy running as long as humanly possible, because the ramifications of both a pandemic and the economy imploding is like, that's what worries me. That's why I keep talking about this. I'm worried. I have every right to be. Every right. All right? Um so I like to look at these. There's also a guy in Shenzhen who lives there who makes videos. I'm going to keep watching him, how things pan out for him. So, I mean, I hope, guys, that this thing mutates. Look, on the good side, I don't want to be Mr. Negative Nancy here, spreading fear. Hopefully it just mutates and the human immune system adapts and everything's going to be all right. I really hope for that. Listen, guys, I haven't skinned a fish or deer since I was like in my teens. Okay? Like, I haven't hunted in many, many years. Um, I would rather this go away and I can look forward to buying an infinity pool and a G-Wagon and having a trophy wife or something. Right? Like, this isn't like, I do not want this. Nobody wants this. Everyone has family. But I don't lie to myself. I live in reality. Okay? And that is, you have to live in reality. If you don't, you're going to lose it. Like the people who freak out in the comment section. All right, guys. What else do I want to show you guys? I mean, maybe they will find a treatment, a cure, right? I'm worried though, because if they have it, maybe they do already have it, right? But to make it for everyone, probably going to take a very, very long time. Even if it's an emergency thing, it'll probably take months. Maybe in the West, it'll take just weeks. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm not a prophet. This is also what I like to look at. Where is it? And I share these in the news room. This blue line down here. When this thing starts ticking up, although this data is not current, it's weird. But the rest of the world, that's what you want to look at. If it's increasing. Now, a lot of people are like, it's weird that it's not. Well, I think it's because it's silently moving right now and spreading out. Because the first few weeks, you don't have symptoms. And right now, it's probably just spreading, but there's no symptoms, so no one's going to get tested, right? That's probably what's happening right now. It's possibly a case in Mexico. Not good. That's a very dense populated area. Egypt, right? A new one in, there's a few more in, I think, Cali and Texas, so. And of course, it's just steadily rising in every other country. But it seems fine right now. It really does. And I hope it stays this way. But from all the information I've been gathering, and I've been devoting a lot of time to this, it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. I hope the warm weather does do something. But I don't think it did for influenza. I don't know. Fact check me on that. Put it in the comment section. Did warm weather slow it down or stop it for influenza? I don't think so. what was it? The other fever thing. It actually thrived in warm and humid temperatures. Um, oh man, I forgot what it's called. What was that fever in the early 1900s, late 1800s? Um, ah, whatever. Also, I think Africa has a lot probably as well, and so does South America. It's just no one's testing. They probably don't even have test kits. Who knows? And people are just thinking, oh, it's natural causes. I don't know. All right. So, very worrisome. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. The markets, you know, all bad news is all great news and good news until it's really bad news and it's not. All right. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for the short term to, you know, save yourself and make as much money so you could take that and financially be prepared and to buy things you need. Go to my website, join the private group. Hopefully this will listen, in the long term, I'm still, this isn't going to be the end of the world. It's not. Most of us are probably going to be fine. But very long term, everything will probably be all right. Well, I'm not saying financially and economically, but I'm saying everyone's going to live. I don't think it's going to be, the end or anything. Okay. But we could be going into some very hard times. So, but, I think there'll be markets in the future. It's all going to come back. It'll be fine. Hopefully the best case scenario is, the world's going to at some point freak out and then they'll come out with some cure or something. All right. Everyone's going to get it and then, it's going to run its course and hopefully we all will be all right. And that's it. Is the financial system going to be able to weather this? No way, but not in my opinion, no way. But, if you're positioned in times of crisis is, unfortunately the biggest opportunities, and there's no shame in that. You got to do what you got to do to survive and thrive. That's the motto here, guys. So, I am looking for there is a company that said they already have a cure. So that's good. It's in the private group. They have stocks. And let's hope for the best. It's going to be all right. Guys, I'm not afraid. I'm not worried to that point where it really affects my sleep. I sleep pretty well. All right, guys. I'm just keeping you guys updated, right? Can't stick your head in the sand. All right. So leave in the comment section what you want me to talk about. And of course, you know what I'm more worried about? I'm going to be honest. You never let any crisis go to waste, right? That's what I'm worried about because what they're doing in China is quite I see a lot of weird stuff. Like, I post the videos, right, in the newsroom. I don't want to talk about it, but it's not, they're definitely taking advantage of it, right, to gain more control over the public. So that's I'm actually more worried about that than anything. All right, guys. So stay safe. Get your PPEs. Get a little extra food. If you don't need to use it, I mean, you could always eat it later. I mean, inflation's still going to rise. So if you buy food now, it's still a good investment, right? All right, guys. Smash some likes. Leave anything in the comment section. Share my videos. Only way my channel grows. And I'll see you guys next time.